Hello and welcome to ANC Decides, the show that gives you up-to-the-minute reports, commentary and analysis building up to the ANC's December elective conference. I'm your host, Mfundo Mabalan. Let's start off with what's making headlines. KZN PEC sheds light on Zweli Mkhize's name going missing on the ANC branch voters' roll. PEC resolves dispute about branch general meetings. Branch general meetings get off to a rocky start in Ekurhuleni. Region races against time as disputes continue over nominations for ANC presidency post. Northern Cape PEC responds to court challenge by 4 branches. Disgruntled members challenge the legitimacy of the PEC led by chairperson Zamani Soul. The ANC in KZN has taken action on pressing issues facing the province. Chief among these is Zweli Mkhize's name being removed from the voters' roll. Nomusa Phungula filed this report for us.
The ANC's KZN top structure has escalated the disparity of Treasurer General Zweli Mkhize's name going missing on his branch's voter roll.
On the issue of Comrade Zweli Mkhize, it's a matter that we are dealing with. We have been dealing with for the past 3 or 4 weeks. It's unfortunate that we requested that the head office should attend to it. It was too late to deal with the matter. But there was a provision made for those who were not appearing to sign a particular attendance register.
The PEC is confident it will resolve issues faced by the province.
The ANC Provincial Executive Committee noted the Provincial Working Committee report on preparation for the court case scheduled for the 13th November 2017 at Pietermaritzburg High Court. The court proceedings will focus on 2 aspects, mainly the application to the execution of the judgment handed down by the same High Court and the leave to appeal the same judgment. We are satisfied with the level of preparations done by the ANC provincial and the national legal teams assigned to defend the African National Congress.
However, there are a number of appeals filed on the branch nomination process. Ward 32 and 5 have had many problems, but the PEC says there are organizational matters that will be resolved in due course.
What we can confirm now that we have received about 30 appeals. 30. We got 6 from head office yesterday. Those who sent it to head office and it was returned to the PEC. On the issue of Ward 32, it's a matter that we are dealing with. They haven't had a PGM as yet. There are political and organizational issues that the organization is still dealing with in that ward.
The African National Congress in KwaZulu-Natal has reiterated that they are capable of resolving their own issues. Furthermore, they are confident that they will go to the December elective conference of the party united, regardless of the different views and different leadership preference. Nomusa Phungula for ANN 7 KZN.
We now cross over to our reporter Nomusa Phungula, who's out in KZN. Nomusa, a warm welcome to you. It seems there's a lot of issues in KZN right now, especially in Ward 32, as well as Zweli Mkhize's name missing from his branch's voters' roll. What exactly is the issue?
Good evening, Fundo, and good evening to our viewers. Well, Fundo, what we saw today at the press conference was that the sitting PEC presented a united or presented an all is well situation, which is contrary to what is actually happening on the ground or the reports that we have been receiving, either from branch members as well as the other side of the African National Congress. Currently, the aggrieved one that is in court with the current PEC. But just to take you through on some of the matters that were discussed in the press conference earlier on, the SG, or the Secretary of the Province, Super Zuma, spoke about Zweli Mkhize's name as well as his wife not appearing on the roll, but he said it's a matter that has already been dealt with by his branch. The branch has already lodged a formal complaint with, or a formal appeal with, the national office. So therefore they are going to leave matters to be handled by that branch to avoid duplication. But also Mfundo, he spoke about the BGM disputes, or the BGM appeals. He said that they've only received 30 appeals so far. Some of them, they received them from the head office, because some would just take the appeals straight to the national office rather than taking them to the PEC. But however, the national office sends those appeals back to the PEC. And he also mentioned that it is not true, like how the other side of the African National Congress has said, that 18 appeals have already been lodged. He said that is not true. Only 30 so far have been received by them. He also touched on what 32 of eThekwini, saying that the branch has not convened a BGM as reported in other media houses or other media outlets, saying that the branch has nominated Cyril. The branch has not had an AGM because they are still trying to resolve matters that are of organizational, according to the Secretary of the Province, saying that whatever that they are doing will at the end of the day make sure that that branch comes out united, and also they will not interfere with whoever that the branch will be nominating. He also made it clear that Dr. Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma was nominated by the Palito branch, which is the branch she resides at and also votes at. So it is quite contradictory to what we have been receiving, that the branch has held their BGM when the Secretary of the Province says that has not happened. But also Mfundo, he spoke about Ward 5 of Rain Konyeni, saying that there are allegations that in the ward, when the BGM was set to take place, an REC deployee deserted the BGM and left the role with the Secretary of the branch. He said that has not come through to his office as a formal dispute or as a formal complaint. They await for that to happen and then take necessary steps. He also said the most important thing now is to unify the organization and make sure that the ANC in KZN goes to the conference united, regardless of who prefers who. But at the end of the day, everyone loves the organization as the African National Congress. He also made it clear that above 60% of the BGMs have set, and most of them have been successful, regardless or despite the ones that have lodged disputes or appeals. But 60% have set, and we know that the deadline is looming, and he assured us that they will be able to make sure that all branches that correct their seats and nominate accordingly. But he could not give us statistics as to who is leading in terms of the presidential race, saying that the PGC that is set to sit in December is the one that will be able to give a formal report as to who nominated who is leading in this province. But he also said that the one that would be said to have won the province would have received at least 140 nominations from 140 branches. Then they would say that particular person is leading or has taken or won the province. But also he said that there is a lot that is needed when verifying membership, when he was speaking about how a membership is verified. And he also said that people must take note that there are a lot of issues that came out as they were verifying membership. There was some membership, a huge bulk here at eThekwini that was paid for by a particular company, but they are dealing with that, Mfundo.
No, certainly, Nomusa, thank you very much for that update. We'll keep in touch as days progress. That's our reporter, Nomusa Pungula, who's out in KZN following the PEC's media briefing earlier today. Now, the deadline for the ANC branch nominations is around the corner, and as in a hotly contested race, there's a struggle for dominance of branch meetings. Lindiwe Sisulu filed this report for us.
A branch general meeting in Thokoza got off to a rocky start, getting delayed by 4 hours. Commotion ensued over data disappearing and resurfacing again.
Yes, we are proceeding with the BGM. Because they brought I don't know how did they brought it, because we didn't want all the details. We only said that we are here, we will proceed with their meeting. If they have tampered with the package of the BGM, then they will have the leadership to deal with. But this is our branch. We cannot allow them to continue and do what they are doing. It is wrong. These are the processes.
More squabbles took place as a branch executive committee member had a heated exchange with the deployed administrator.
Ndikhona la ngaphakathi. Andimanobukhonjwa ngubani ubandi ngomnye wezonali ndimbone sekandisusa kwindawo bendime kuyo njengoba ndijongile endibuza ubandi ngubani. Apha ideployee into efuneka iyenze ijonge ukhetho ukuba lihamba kakuhle ideploye uba mayizokwenza ukhetho. Ayizukhetha abantu emabenze lo msebenzi ngokwayo, ingazukhetha abantu amabakhethwe apha. Umsebenzi wayo yona ideployee ukuthi isijonge ukuthi ukhetho luhamba kakuhle na.
After another 3 hours of robust discussions, the results were released just before midnight and Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma emerged on top.
We're now joined by our reporter, Lindiwe Sisulu. Lindiwe, a warm welcome to you. Now, you've been reporting on the BGMs in Ekurhuleni. What was the outcome specifically there now, if you have to take us through Thokoza and some of the things that we saw in that package?
A very good day to you, Mfundo, as well as the viewers. Like you've correctly cited, we have been covering Ekurhuleni extensively. More so, we're at Thokoza last night up until just before midnight, when we know that there was a delay of over 4 hours. The BGM was expected to commence at 5, but because of data disappearance and resurfacing and zonal leaders also being implicated, from what we're getting on the ground, is that a lot of commotion ensued initially before the BGM eventually started, and it only started at 9 p.m. where voting took place. We also saw that another BC additional member and also zonal member was complaining that the treatment she received from the administrator wasn't what she expected. But regardless, the BGM, they formed the quorum and they proceeded as normal, and Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma emerged victorious. Didi Mabuza being the deputy president that was nominated, the SG being Ace Makashule, the chairperson Jesu Duarte, and the treasurer being Maite Nkonyane Mashabani, and the deputy secretary being Nathi Mthethwa. So those are the people that were nominated at that particular BGM. But it was quite interesting looking at the robust discussions that took place while we could not go inside. But from outside, we heard that a lot was happening inside, and they were only able to conclude everything just before midnight.
No, but an interesting team there. It seems similar to the one that we've been reporting on, Deputy President David Mabuza there, and as well as the chair being Jesse Duarte, but specifically on Deputy President, or at least him being Deputy President, David Mabuza. It's an interesting one because his province has maintained that unity card, but here he seems to appear on a slate. What exactly do we know there?
What we know about that particular name being brought up, having spoken to some of the members, is that this seems to be a clear slate that is emerging. We know that Cyril Ramaphosa over the weekend made his pronouncement of who will be his deputy should he become president. That was hugely criticized. But we're also seeing that on this particular one, Didi Mabuza has also mentioned the Premier of Mpumalanga. But we're yet to see if this is an official slate or it's just the preference of the members of Thokoza. But we know that this coming weekend in Mpumalanga, this slate might be put out to the public. Maybe Didi might come out and say, here are my numbers and I'm giving them over to Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma. We're yet to see, but only the people will decide.
No, the race is getting more interesting by the day. We'll certainly be looking out for what will be happening in Mpumalanga. Thank you very much. That's Lindiwe Sisulu, who's reporting on the BGMs in Ekurhuleni. Now on to the Northern Cape. The Northern Cape PEC is unfazed by the faction that is going to court to challenge its legitimacy. The provincial structure says it will emerge victorious in the court battle. At least 4 branches in Northern Cape say the provincial conference that saw Zamani Soul emerge as the leader was flawed. Soul unseated Sylvia Lucas as the provincial chairperson. The province is set to join Free State and KwaZulu-Natal, where the provincial leadership has to be decided by the courts. Meanwhile, the current leadership says all disputes have been settled and no one will be allowed to impose themselves as leaders. Now the jury is out on who the court will say is the legitimate leader.
This all started during the last conference, local government elections, where Zamani and his team did as they please. And again, during that time, there were disputes. We went to Lituli House. Gwede Mantashe was highly involved. Lindiwe Sisulu. Nothing happened to those disputes. From local government election, the very same thing they did then, they repeated it with the provincial conference. And trust me, when we say we've exhausted all avenues, we've done all internal processes. Even for us to be here today, it was not easy. It pains us to be here. But if the courts are the only people that can salvage the situation that we are in, so be it.
We are not in a space where we would willy-nilly take the ANC to court. And we dare even say that we don't believe we're taking the ANC to court. The people that we're taking to court are the people that have been, abusing ANC systems, procedures, the people that have stolen BGMs, the people that have, defrauded. Then this PEC does not deserve, these people in the PEC do not deserve to be the PEC. The constitution requires that 90% of members must be from branches. So it indirectly tells you that it has to be calculated accurately. Now, in calculating it accurately, an audit is done.
We believe firmly that branches nominate and elect leaders of the ANC. People are not imposed as leaders on this great organization. So we went to BGMs. The provincial conference was preceded by BGMs that took place. There was audit processes that took place, verification processes, and every branch got an opportunity, literally every member of the ANC got an opportunity to lodge disputes. We responded to every dispute that was actually lodged.
We now cross over to our reporter Giovanni Machani out in the Northern Cape. Giovanni, a warm welcome to you. Now, I had an opportunity to go through that application by the disgruntled members. Now, they want to have that the convening of that provincial conference set aside, or even the PC itself, where Zamani Sol emerges the chair. But what exactly are the issues? Is it the convening, the timing thereof, the date, or is it processes that they believe were flouted?
Indeed, good afternoon to you, Mfundo, and good afternoon to the viewers. What is important coming from the ANC branch members is not that they want to stop the elective conference that will be happening in December, but moreover, they are concerned about the processes that took place earlier on this year that decided the leadership, the PEC leadership of the Northern Cape. They say that other members were barred from going through to vote, and that's how a certain leadership was chosen without other influences. We do know from the National Policy Conference, the National SG Gwede Mantashe said the ANC is an environment of debate. You should open up yourself to be persuaded and to also have the energy to persuade others. So it's quite interesting what we hear now on the road to the elective conference. We've heard from the members who did open up the case, questioning the leadership of the Northern Cape PEC, stating that whatever should happen in December is going to happen in December. It's not about the national leadership that they are questioning. They are just asking for their contribution in all discussions, also stating that it is quite unfortunate that they had to be left out in terms of the ways that they were left out, physically, manipulation of, other people calling themselves with certain titles to influence other people on the ground. So it is definitely interesting. If we see this provincially, you also see this also going into December with, smear campaigning of the presidential hopeful candidates going forward. So it is quite an interesting environment politically for the ANC. Now,
the million-dollar question is, we saw this conference was in May. And then the policy conference was in July. Zamani Soul came there as chair. So the issue is the timing thereof. Why are they going to court now in November when the conference sat in May already?
Indeed, they have mentioned that they have exhausted all internal processes. We've heard from countless PECs stating that should you have any grievances with your organization, go through the internal kind of processes and the structures that are available, address your branch, address your region, address your province, and then only go into the NEC or the NWC to solve the situations. They say that they've been through all processes. There was even an incident where the top 6 did come down to the Northern Cape to hear their grievances. They did that, and those members who have gone out to the court say that they were not given feedback on where they lie in terms of this. They say that, as you've heard from Deshi, who is the provincial secretary, that the grievances were heard and, things did come to a resolution. So quite interestingly so, the drama happening provincially, will this drama be resolved heading into a national kind of environment where all 9 provinces will be under one roof, where different voices need to be heard and leadership moving forward for the ANC needs to be chosen?
No, certainly, Giovanni, thank you very much for your input. We'll talk as days progress. That's our reporter, Giovanni Machani, who's out in the Northern Cape following the application by those disgruntled members to take the PC to court. Now, as the ANC race gains momentum, our reporter, Lindiwe Twala, had a conversation with presidential candidate Lindiwe Sisulu. Let's take a listen to that.
Today we're in Sidibeng talking to a presidential candidate, Ms. Lindiwe Sisulu, who has encompassed a lot of roles in the government as well as in the African National Congress, an educator at heart, as she's been speaking a lot about education and the fees must fall protest. Students are also in support of her. A very, very good day to you and welcome to ANC Decides.
Thank you.
Talking about your campaign, how has it been received? Because we've been following you in the tertiary schools. A lot of students are excited about having you.
Well, it's a journey. Everywhere I've been, I have taken on board the views of the people there, incorporated them into my campaign, and I have found that I talk largely to the young generation because it is their future that we're talking about. And I've learnt a lot from engagement with them. They're very robust. They want their things now, not yesterday. So I must encompass the word now in my campaign because it appeals to them. So it's been a very enriching experience, a very humbling experience to be able to talk to people, even when issues are not related to government. They will raise issues about the issue of human settlements, lack of resources, lack of water, lack of all of those things, which means that what they're saying to me is, even as we go towards a conference, in the meantime, we want our lives better. And they have a right to that. So I've used this opportunity to also understand where we as government are with our people, where we as the ANC are with the people. And the message I have been sending is, if everything we do, we have the interests of the ANC at heart, we can't go wrong.
And then a lot of people have been saying that South Africa is becoming a younger and younger generation, a younger South Africa.
I didn't think I'd be sitting with a young journalist. We are predominantly a young generation. So we have to think beyond ourselves and think, what is it that the youth would like us to do? And therefore our message is largely aimed at them. What would they like their future to be? It is in our hands right now, but it belongs to them.
And then do you feel that you have the crossover appeal to speak to the older generation as well as the younger generation to incorporate them in top structures?
Yes, certainly. Certainly. I mean, most of our messaging is done by young people. Most of the social media articulation is done by young people. And we want to have a young appeal. Our generation, which is a 1976 generation, only has one term. Beyond that, we must have made sure that we correct the situation, both within the ANC and in the country, to give them the hope that we did it in their name, and we're doing it for them, not for ourselves, but for them. Our time is over almost.
All right, and then how do you feel about the particular endorsement coming out now that they want you to be their deputy president here in Sidibeng region?
I welcome every endorsement, any endorsement and every endorsement, and I'm very grateful that they considered it. I'm grateful that they have put me out there. It shows the confidence they have in me, and I'll accept whatever. Finally, it is not what I want, but what the people want. And finally, it is not what I want, but what the ANC wants. For me, the bottom line is, if the ANC is at the center of what I do, I can't go wrong.
And then do you feel that the ANC is ready for a female president?
The ANC has always been very ready for a female president. In fact, I think change has been long overdue. There have been many generations of women that have come and gone and not had the opportunity, who would have made excellent presidents in their time.
And then lastly, we know that there have been headlines that you're saying that you'd like those that have left the ANC, who have not been treated well, to come back into the ANC.
I do. I feel very passionately about, if there's anything that we have done that has repelled ANC people, we would like to welcome them back. Because we can only grow from strength to strength when we are all united back in the fold of the ANC moving forward. Because at every elective conference that we've been to, we have shed some people, which is a tragedy for us. We should be growing instead of shedding people. And therefore, my message to those people who feel disaffected, who felt very angry with us, is we need you back in the ANC, because only the ANC can lead this country to prosperity. Only the ANC can give hope of a better life for everybody. And only the ANC has made that promise.
And then have you extended an olive branch to these particular people?
Well, I have been using these occasions to extend that olive branch. I would not be able to take the olive branch to each and every one of them, but I do know they're reading, I do know that they're listening to television, I do know they're listening to radio, and that has been a consistent message.
Will you be attending the consultative conference?
I will be attending the consultative conference. I actually would like to encourage most people to attend the consultative conference. It would be a place where it would be possible for us to find each other, so that by the time we get to the conference at the end of the year, we are not at loggerheads with each other. It is an absolute necessity for us to be seen and be united by the time we get to conference. Otherwise, we will not get to the end that we deserve. South Africans deserve a united ANC. South Africans deserve the best that the ANC can give, and we need to give ample preparation for that. And I think the consultative conference will provide that for us.
Thank you so much. That was Lindiwe Sisulu, one of the presidential candidates who believes that the African National Congress is still the home of South Africans.
No, thank you very much to Sindisiwe Twala there, speaking to presidential hopeful Lindiwe Sisulu. And lastly, here's this week's poll question. Now, the question this week is white monopoly capital a reality in the South African economy? You can take part in our survey on our website and social media platforms. They are here on your television screens now. And that's where we end today's show. Until next time.